on my side as well.
Awesome. So Scott Millar, welcome, sir.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
It's going well, man. You've got a really, I've got a really interesting view. That's for certain.
Yeah, you can see a motherboard right here. So,
is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's the ones that I used to deal with were probably about double the size.
Yeah,
as we mentioned before.
That thing is adorable.
This is 10 years. I used to build a system every 6 months 10 years ago, but the last system I built is probably 2 or 3 years ago. There's a kid that I know. He's stuck at home and he wants this PC built. Someone's given him this whole components list. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you. So reluctantly, I'm building it, but I thought I can try and build it whilst I'm speaking to Steve, kill two birds with one stone, because I'd completely probably mess it up as well. So I might get to put the RAM in, but that'll probably be it. That's as far as I can get. The cooler is just crazy on this thing. So
that's so. What I'm hearing is, there's a good chance that when people are watching this, they're going to pick on you.
That's good. That's what I like. Any type of press, any PR, any mention of my name or IT Rockstars, good or bad. This is the philosophy that some of the biggest leaders in power have. Doesn't matter what type of press you've got, it's all good press. So yeah, you can pick on me. So yeah, so as I say, I don't even know what slot this thing is. So I'm happy. I'm used to getting picked on. That's kind of the type of character I am. I just kind of laugh it off.
It looks like that one slot. Man, looking at that board here's how I just don't do like hardware like this anymore. You know, someone says I need a computer, I say
me neither.
No problem. I was just about to say I couldn't tell you if it's an Intel or AMD. Now that you put the Ryzen, I know which one it is, and that makes sense. You know, if it's for a kid, he's probably wanting to play some games, but more importantly, AMD is just more cost effective. I know that much, but But I couldn't tell you anything else. I couldn't tell you if we're on DDR4 still. Like I couldn't tell you how many cores that CPU is going to have. I just,
this is no good, Steve. What are we going to do? This is the whole reason that we're linked up today, isn't it?
I don't know what we're doing anymore, Scott. I don't even know what day it is. It could be Saturday.
You've been doing a lot of videos. I was on your YouTube earlier on, and you've been speaking to some heavy hitters as well. You had Rob. I was listening to Rob Ray from Data One before, so you are.
Yeah, that one we did on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
So it's April 7th, 2020. Quarantine day, like I don't know, 36 or something like that. What's now, Scott? You sound like you're over in like Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah, Scotland, UK.
So, since you're in the UK, I'm not going to ask you your opinion or anything. I know that's a dangerous subject, but I know that Boris is in the ICU. The last I saw.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it seems like he was, going out and shaking hands, kissing babies in the hospital while people are in like quarantine for COVID-19, and he's in the hospital like all over these people.
Yeah.
And that's likely how he got infected.
I have no idea how it happened, but yeah, it's kind of serious condition he's in.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how stupid was that?
I don't think he was kissing babies or anything.
Oh, okay. So maybe.
I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. So one of the issues we've got here in the UK at the moment is people are flouting the rules. So we're not going heavy-handed like Spain or Italy, where it's complete lockdown. We're just being advised to stay at home. You're only allowed out to the stores for essentials, and you can exercise once a day. But there's certain people that are flouting that rule. My conspiracy theory is that Boris is fine. He's just pretending to be sick. to explain the gravitas of the situation that we're all in. It's like, oh shit, Boris is in ICU, then we really should be staying at home. So that's my alternative theory, but I know it's probably nonsense. I just kind of thought that would be I do hope he's okay though. It doesn't matter what political party. I'm not political in the slightest.
Absolutely. So. It really shouldn't matter, like, what your beliefs are. You shouldn't really hope that somebody falls ill or worse, right? That's never good. That never does anyone any good. So
how long have you been in lockdown for then, Steve?
So it was March. It was a Friday. It was let's see. Our schools shut down Thursday, the 12th of March was the last day of school that our kids had. And I remember that following week, we were already doing like social distancing. And then shortly after that, the stay-at-home orders went out. So here in the States, it's interesting because we're doing the president, the whole country is not really dictating much other than you should probably avoid people, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
The country is leaving it to the states to dictate what to do. And there's some problems with, not all of the governors have agreed that, this is how we should just do this. So there are some states where they still don't have any lockdown orders. And so like Florida, I think last week finally did lockdown.
Oh, wow.
And because they didn't do a lockdown, and this is a state where, by the way, like 21% of the population is over 65.
I thought they would be first.
Yeah, like Florida's where all the old people go to retire,
Yeah.
So 1 in 5 people are over 65 in Florida. So they've got Florida where, they don't have any lockdown order until last week. And then there's my state, Ohio. Governor DeWine is just, again, I'm keeping political parties out of this, right? But Governor DeWine, in my opinion, has done just a fantastic job at trying to stay ahead of this. Trying to be realistic and also just getting out in front of people on a daily basis and just, updating us, updating the citizens that he governs. And I think because of that, he'll probably get reelected because people are going to remember that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How are things going over on your side of the pond? It's such a big pond.
Most people, most people are abiding by the rules. So I went into physical distancing on the 17th, so St. Patrick's Day, 17th of March. So that was the last day I was in the office. And the schools closed on the 23rd, so a little bit ahead of you guys. But at the moment, everyone wants to know, when's it going to end? So, there's different theories of when that'll happen. But I had my friend, a guy called Richard Curry. He lives in China, so he moved there in November last year. So he's been through the quarantine in China. They did the quarantine on I think it was the last week in January, and they're just coming to the end of it now. So I think it's like 63 days. So all eyes are on China at the moment, Stephen, seeing what's happening there. It's going to be there's some discussion that there'll be a second wave that might actually be bigger. But we're just going to have to wait and see, play it by ear, I think.
So since you're a conspiracy theory guy.
I'm not really. I just like to make them up in my head.
Oh, okay. So you don't actually like go looking for them and believe them all?
No.
Okay.
No, I from the marketing perspective, I'm thinking to myself, if I was Boris Johnson, I was trying to get my message across. Mm-hmm. Pretend to be in ICU. That would get your message across. So that's just me with my marketing hat on more than anything else.
So there's a guy on the internet. His name is Gary Sumter. And he put one of those "what if I told you" kind of stories out there, and it's one of those crazy sounding conspiracy theories, and it sounds absolutely batshit crazy to me, but I love a good story, you know.
Yeah.
So this conspiracy theory basically says, so what if I told you that COVID-19 is not real, and that what is it, Harvey Weinstein, however you pronounce it, he made a deal and implicated all these people, and this guy lists off some like really big names of people that you just would never expect. He listed off people including Oprah and Tom Hanks. Like Tom Hanks, I'm sorry, but I just don't know much about Oprah. But Tom Hanks is one of those guys, like, the internet has all collectively agreed, if Tom Hanks ever gets accused in the like Me Too thing, that the world's just all going to hell, because Tom Hanks is just one of the most down to earth, sweetest, most amazing people. I don't know much about him either, but Reddit has all agreed that he's a perfect angel of a human being.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy's saying that all these people have been implicated, and it also lists off all of these CEOs that recently stepped down, like the CEOs of LinkedIn, Salesforce, Harley Davidson, IBM, T-Mobile. Like, all of these CEOs have recently stepped down, and that they've all been implicated, and they're going to get in trouble or whatever, right? So I find conspiracy theories like that so interesting, and I don't know, man. It also sounds absolutely batshit crazy. Like, it's not true. Okay, I just want I want everyone to know I don't believe it's true, but it's just such a funny story to me.
Yeah, I think yeah, you could make anything up about it, really. I think the biggest thing, though, that people should maybe be thinking about is what's going to change because of what's happening. I think that's where a lot of our thoughts should be going, as opposed to conspiracies. You know, in our space, in our industry, but just also wider in the general economy and the global economy. What's going to change, and what's going to take shape. So that's where a lot of my thought is going at the moment.
So the other thing that I'm, other than when is this all going to end, that's an obvious thought in my mind, and I think the only reasonable assumption is nothing is ever going to be the same again. That's the only reasonable assumption I've been able to come to, because okay, so let's say we social distance ourselves for what, a month, 2 months, 3 months. COVID-19 is still out there. There still probably won't be a vaccine. So people are going to be scared to get it. I mean,
yeah.
But then there's the other people. So I'll leave it really vague. I know a guy. It's not me, okay? You guys don't know him. He's not an IT guy. But I know a guy who they recently posted on social media how let's see. They posted about how the CDC reports from October 1st, 2019 to March 28th, 2020, 55 million cases of the flu, 26 million medical visits related to the flu, 730,000 hospitalized related to the flu, 63,000 deaths related to the flu. So that equals 10,000 people in the United States per month dead from the common flu. And yet we all need to hide in our homes because of the coronavirus. I think that, this guy is basically saying germs are everywhere, viruses are everywhere, colds are everywhere, none of them are ever going to go away. So just stop being babies and go out and enjoy your lives.
Yeah.
And I think they're forgetting the fact that this thing is just barely started here in the United States. And I don't know about you, Scott. I'm a huge Apple guy. So I've got, I'm running a MacBook, I'm running iPhone, iPad Pro, I'm Apple everything. So I use Apple News, and Apple News has a special section for COVID-19. And in this section here, they have a Washington Post thing that regularly updates.
Okay.
So with social distancing, we are at 11,000, 7 shy of 11,000 reported deaths that are connected to COVID-19 here in the States. And again, this thing has just started and we're doing social distancing. So it's like, sure, I see your point of view, but at the same time, if we weren't doing the social distancing, this number could easily be 75,000 or 100,000 already, because people are wearing masks, people are staying home, kids aren't going to school right now. So I think that this is absolutely helping. It sucks, it absolutely sucks, but it's helping.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, it's just if we didn't have the social distancing, there'd be a big, we'd overcrowd the hospitals, and the whole thing would just collapse pretty much, probably. So I think what we're doing is correct. So how's your business been affected by it so far, Steve?
So far, so good. I've had a few members that had to drop out of RocketMSP because they've had a huge dip in the number of clients that are able to pay them. There are some that specialize in supporting nonprofits, which nonprofits aren't getting much right now. Like, you would think people would be giving so much more because the nonprofits need it so much more right now. But with people out of work, they don't know when they're going to get money again. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there's guys where they don't even know if their company's going to survive this. I am in a good place. My MSP, I have not lost any clients because of it. I've got a few clients that are in the, I'll just call it cleaning industry. So homes or businesses, right? So everyone wants clean right now, so they're good. I've got one client that does interior design, and they're probably going through a little bit of a struggle right now. I worry about them. I wouldn't say I mean, of course I'm worried about losing clients, but I'm more worried about, like, are they going to survive? Like, I care more about them than I care about, like, me losing them, because what's a few hundred or $1,000 a month when we're talking about their literal livelihood. And like, I just feel like it's selfish for me to just worry about, well, if they close, what is this going to do to me? Like, that just sounds selfish to me.
The secondary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good to hear that you haven't been affected by it yet. I guess you're in a good position for that. We've had a few members at IT Rockstars where they have left, but they've paused their membership. So
sure,
they can pause it for up to 4 months. So that's actually perfect for our members. So because hopefully within 4 months, things are going to be ticking again. But that's all it is at the moment. But from IT Rockstar's perspective, there's a huge amount of work that has to be done just now. And the main reason for that is because everyone's at home digesting content. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's why you're doing this series on YouTube at the moment.
Well, I'll be honest, that is what prompted me to finally get it started back up. Because I don't know if you realize, but like I stopped doing the webinars back in like August last year.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
And honestly, it's just because I was rebranding everything from MSP Webinars to RocketMSP, and then I was going to start back up, and then I just kept putting that on the back burner. And then once this all started, I thought, people are probably pretty bored, so now would be a really great time for me to kick this off again. So why not?
Yeah, I did see that you stopped, and I was wondering in the back of my head, because I'm thinking to myself, certainly in YouTube, you were always there's not that many MSP centric YouTube channels out there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of traffic, and I saw that you got quite a number of video views, and I thought, well, surely I'm guessing that's how you kind of built up a lot of your business in the past, was through these YouTube videos that you did.
It absolutely is. So it was probably foolish of me to stop for so long.
Yeah.
There's a big part of me kicking myself, but you know what? I think all of this kind of happens for a reason. So obviously COVID-19, the only reason it happened was truly to just get me to start doing these videos again. That's the only reason that China obviously manufactured COVID-19, because they wanted me to do more videos.
Yeah, that sounds like a plausible theory to me.
So now we're on the same page. Now that I'm just making up conspiracy theories, now we're on the same page?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So this motherboard, I am going to have to give up at this point, because
that's hysterical.
Otherwise, I'd have to go off camera. But as I mentioned, the cooler, so I have to put the bracket on for the cooler. But I need to find out what slot it is, and I need to read instructions and things like that. So I am going to just come away from the motherboard now. So I'll bring my screen back up here if I can do it in OBS.
Oh, so, look at you.
There we go.
You're getting fancy.
Yeah, look at this shirt I'm wearing today.
Oh, no, I just meant fancy because you were able to like resize it like that, But, regardless of if you're wearing a collared shirt or not, like, there are days where I record these and I'm just wearing like a t-shirt with Mario on it, like, who cares what I'm wearing? I don't think if my shirt has buttons, my content is any better. And let's be realistic. You guys aren't looking at me because you like looking at me, okay? That's why I also made this an audio only podcast, because I know people don't want to look at me.
I am totally with you there. So one of the bits of content that I put out recently was called "How to Effectively Work from Home." Mm-hmm. And the first tip on the list, now none of this stuff's mine because I'm not a work from home expert. I mentioned that to our members when I put this content out there. But the first tip is get dressed for work. Supposedly, what this does to your brain is that it puts you in the mind that you're going to work. So the theory is that if you actually get dressed and have like a uniform or a shirt that you wear normally, and then you turn up to your desk at home, you're going to be in a far better position to work from home. And it's one of the things that helps with distractions. So a piece of content there that I clearly went against here, but that's from an expert, a work from home expert, and not myself. So yeah, I'm with you with the shirt, Steve.
So I'll say this, that I do agree with you on the, wake up and get yourself ready as if you're going to work still. I've found that on the days where I don't, where I just kind of roll out of bed and into the office chair, those are the days where I don't feel like I've accomplished as much.
That's been me for the last 3 weeks.
Well, thankfully, I mean, I work from home already.
Yeah.
So for me, like, the thing that's changed is I've got more noise and distractions around me, not the fact that I'm working at home.
Okay. So you've got kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned I saw that interview you did with Rob from Datto, and he's out in a separate building. That's what I've got as well. That's what you need, Steve. You need like a separate building that you can get out. It's nice and quiet, no distraction whatsoever. So that's.
I am more and more. I'm thinking about what would it take for me to build, even if it's just a little 10 by 10 like shed, and get
That's
some
what I've
type.
got.
Is that what you're in?
Yeah, it's like a log cabin. You have to excuse the mess. That's all the bits from the.
It's okay.
There's a nice recliner there. That's where I do a lot of reading. And then just some books over there. But yeah, this is a shed that's got network and electricity.
See, that's what I need. I need that. And I wonder what it would take for me to have that. I bet it would be, thousands of dollars. And I'm to the point where I'm considering the investment.
If you're an Apple guy, it's probably just a couple of Mac Pros. I mean, I didn't. The joiner, the carpenter, did this for me, and he put it up in a couple of days. You just need to get hold of the right person.
I'm not worried about the electronics part. I'm worried about the building part.
Well, it's just all wood, so.
But then you got to get electricity and network and.
Yeah. Well, the electricity network was pretty straightforward, though. You get someone that knows what they're doing. So, a couple of Mac Pros. That's all you need. That's the investment.
I don't need Mac Pros, man. I have a Mac. I have a MacBook Pro.
A MacBook Pro. Okay.
Yes.
You have to excuse my ignorance when it comes to. I use an iPhone, but that's it.
Right. So the MacBook Pro is the laptop. The Mac Pro is that, like, it's the desktop that's designed for all the video editing and.
Yeah. So you only need like half of one of them to get a log cabin. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for I gotta say, UK, I was probably in my 20s when I kind of put all of this together. And this is going to make you laugh and cry all at once, all right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize that the UK was like an island, or multiple islands, I'll say. I thought that, like, England was on the European continent.
Okay, well, that's fully what I would expect from a US cousin. I know the standard stereotypical knowledge of a US citizen and their geographies.
I feel like you're kind of digging at me a little right now, Scott.
No, that's what I would expect.
So yeah, but to be fair, my wife has a cousin who thought Alaska was an island. So, okay. And it's because on all the maps they have in school, like, they don't show Alaska connected to Canada, connected to the US. They've got like Hawaii in its little box and Alaska in its little box.
Okay.
Which is even funnier because then it doesn't properly show like the true size of Hawaii or Canada in relation to the US. Uh-huh. But yeah, so I'm not as bad because I knew Alaska was connected to Canada.
I guess it just depends what map you buy if it's going to show you Canada or not. Yeah. So it works.
So the UK is actually like a series of islands, right? Or like a group of islands.
There's two land masses. So there's the biggest one is Scotland, England, and Wales, which are all together. and then Ireland is off to the side. But Ireland's split in two, so there's Ireland, which is south, and then there's Northern Ireland, which actually belongs to the UK. The
Yeah,
southern part.
and that's the part I keep screwing up. I keep forgetting that. I always forget. I think that Scotland and Ireland are on that one landmass.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I screw up is I always think that Ireland and Scotland are above, not beside. I mean, I guess it depends on which direction you're facing. But when looking at a map and looking, north, Ireland is like directly west of, like, Dublin and Manchester are both almost on like the same line of latitude.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And I always screw that up. So, all right. So being in Scotland, what does that mean for you? Like, so you're a part of the UK, so you could just go to Manchester or London whenever you want, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't need a passport to do that?
No, you would need a passport to go to Southern Ireland.
Okay.
It's part of Europe, though, so you can usually there's no real physical, there is a border, but you can just walk through it, and no one's going to check your credentials.
Yeah, but once Brexit happens, then that'll change, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know what's going to happen there, but there's talk that they'll have to bring it back to how it was 20 or 30 years ago, and all of that stuff. But yeah, I can, a few people have me on a blacklist, Steve, but most places I can go and I'm okay.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. You said you're on a blacklist?
I'm just joking with you.
Don't do that to me, man. I'm gullible.
Yeah,
I'm a gullible guy.
Okay, I will attempt not to joke with you then. Sorry. Apologize.
All right, so talk to me about Scotland. Oh, no, wait. Talk to me about Wales. Not the animal.
Okay.
Is Wales a country? And that's the other thing that confuses me.
Wales is a country, yeah.
So what's the United Kingdom?
It is the consortium, so it's England, Scotland.
No, I know that. So the United Kingdom's not a country then, right?
Well, it is. It's all of it, all of them combined. Let me see if I can bring up my map here.
Well, I'm looking at a map.
This is for your viewers. Are people going to be seeing this?
Oh, here, I'll share my map for you. There you go.
Okay.
All right. So I understand Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales are what create the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's right.
And I understand that this giant part of Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom. It's part of the European Union. And I also somewhat understand that Northern Ireland wants to leave the UK and connect back up with Ireland.
Well, they're kind of split there. That's why they had all of these troubles a number of years ago. So there's people in Ireland, Northern Ireland, that think that they should be just one Ireland, and then there's other people that think that Northern Ireland should be part of the UK. So that's getting back to a political thing. You'll have to forgive me. I don't know, but it's part of history. So there's a divide there in regards to opinion on that.
Well, thanks to that Peaky Blinders show on Netflix, I've actually heard of the Troubles.
You probably know more than me then. But they were only solved about 25 years ago,
which is insane.
And it's about to get undone again. So I'm Aberdeen. So I'm the top right up there. It's the oil capital of Europe.
Of Europe?
Yes.
So if Scotland were to leave the UK would probably be hurting.
Yeah, that is the theory. There would be a lot of tax revenue lost from the UK government, but again, this is getting back to political matters. There's other people that think we're probably better off together because Scotland's only got 5 million people.
Oh, sure. And I'm not asking which one's right or which one you are. I'm just stating simple fact of if Scotland left the UK would be out a big chunk of money. And if Scotland did that, Scotland would then likely want to join the EU, which would have different benefits for Scotland. And that's, just so interesting to me. And I guess this is what I meant by a group of islands, because like all this is part of the UK.
Yeah, that's Orkney, so that's actually part of Scotland, and then there's Shetland, which is just north of it as well. They're Scottish, but then there's talk in Shetland that they want to be independent as well. So it's like, how independent do you want to be?
No, you said this is
the
called
block and you're an independent country, So
this is called Shetland?
Yeah.
Now, why don't I see that? Because it just says mainland here. Oh, here's Shetland.
Yeah, there you go.
So is this whole thing Shetland?
Yeah.
Or just this little section here?
No, it's the whole thing. Makes up the I think it's, Shetland and then Orkney. And then you've got, other islands there as well. And
then there's this Isle of Man. This does not look like it's part of the UK based on this red line being not around it. Yeah,
they've got some sort of a lot of people that try and avoid taxes go there. Or Jersey, that's another island. They are kind of part of the UK, but again, you're gonna have to forgive me. This is actually where my geography runs out as well. Like Jersey down there, it's like closer to France, but it's it's more part of the UK than it is French.
That's really interesting to me. And what's interesting, just because we
actually have another island as well further down, south of Spain. It's called Gibraltar. So if you go down,
that's down here.
Yeah, keep going down to the right a little bit. You're gonna have to go way down actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so do you see Spain?
Yeah.
See Gibraltar? That is owned by the UK.
No way.
Yeah. And the Spanish, that little island there, that's UK. The Spanish people are really pissed off about that. Again, this is a historical thing. I don't know how long we've had it. But UK used to own a lot of places. It wasn't just...
Well, that much I know. That much I absolutely... I mean, hell,
there's also,
me.
there is another island. It's not the Canaries. What is it? It's just off of Argentina. And we had a war about it with Argentina back in 1979, I think it was.
Is that like the East Indies, West Indies, one of those?
It's right at the bottom, right down the bottom of South America.
Oh, see, I'm not even thinking down here.
Yeah.
The Falklands?
That's the Falklands. That's UK.
Huh.
So if you click Falklands, it'll give you the wiki entry, and it's actually UK.
So what, do they like speak English and all that too then, or?
I have no idea. I just know that we had Argentina tried to claim it back in the late 70s or early 80s, and we had a war about it.
And okay, so this is interesting. So I'm in America, obviously. So I know that we have Puerto Rico, which is here, and Puerto Rico is not a state. Scott, did you know that?
I thought it was a country.
It is an island that is part of the United States.
I never knew that.
It is an unincorporated U.S. territory.
Your geography is really good, Steve.
And then we've also got these U.S. Virgin Islands, and then there's the British Virgin Islands. And then over here, we've got Hawaii, obviously. But then you keep going a little more. Where is that little sucker? There's Guam somewhere.
Yeah, it's down. It's beside China somewhere.
I know it's. So if I zoom out as far as possible, I know it's like here-ish.
Yeah, that's good.
That really narrows it down, right?
I'm not going there anytime soon, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're probably right. And then there's Samoa too. We have American Samoa, which is another U.S. territory. So yeah, we've got quite a bit of just like random islands and stuff. And I think the reason that like we still have these islands, for example, is because how else would we have? I didn't realize American Samoa is so close to Fiji. Right over here. There you go. There's some random.
These are quarantine destinations.
Right?
This is where I'd like to be.
But okay, so I mean, obviously I'm pretty zoomed out, but look at how ridiculously kind of close Australia, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, and then right here is Hawaii. And then over here was American Samoa, and then here's Japan. So that is really why we went out and got ourselves some islands over in the Pacific, because we knew we needed some defense from Japan. We never wanted what happened over at Pearl Harbor to happen again. Or at least that's what I remember from school, which was so long ago. Did you know Mexico is not part of the United States?
Yeah, I'm okay with U.S. geography because I was kind of half brought up in the U.S. My dad stays in Illinois, so in the summer I used to go to day camp. So
the reason I know that is because we're building a wall between the two.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, all right, Scott. So tell me a little bit about IT Rockstars. What are you doing there, man?
So we provide the main thing that we do at IT Rockstars. We've been going we've actually been going since August 2016. Used to be an MSP.
For you.
We pivoted the company in January. It was actually December 2018. So just over a year now, we've been providing marketing services for MSPs and IT companies. Our core service, we provide content that you can market your IT business with. So it's white label content. You can use it as your own. So you can put it on your blog. You can put it on your LinkedIn. You can have it in printed form that you can send out to your prospects and clients. That's the main thing that we do at IT Rockstars. That's what we're all about. But we kind of have like a formula that we use to get the best sort of bang for buck out of the content. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
So that's really cool. So you said you've got a formula. Talk to me about this formula.
Well, the formula changes because marketing is always a moving target. So what's working just now won't work in 12 months from just now. And the main reason for that is because everyone starts to saturate these types of platforms. So the one that we talked about a lot in 2019 was LinkedIn. So the way it works is you have a prospects list potentially. If you don't have a prospects list, I always ask my members, okay, so your existing client base, give me the 20% that you like working with. Who are they? What types of businesses are they? And your job is basically to come up with a prospects list that looks like that. So, okay, you like working with accountants? What other accountants are in your town or in your city that are of similar size? That becomes your prospects list.
Okay.
Now, the way
so some of that stuff is almost like what you and I think of as like common sense, but some of this stuff is hard for some business owners to think about.
Yeah, because they're too stuck into their motherboard or their RMM to think about the marketing. And the MSPs that I've always that I worked with in the past, when I was in a technical role and a sales role, marketing was always the last thing on their mind. It was always like an afterthought, just like potentially most of your clients where the IT support and services is always one of the last things that gets thought of. It's the same for IT companies. Marketing is always secondary, or it's down lower than the tools that are going to be used. So yeah, it's very much it's a simplistic formula that works.
That's really cool, man. So I see, if I'm looking at your site here. Let me put this in 1080p mode here. Share my screen again. So your subscription that I see, I'm just going to scroll down and make it easy for people. You charge 125 US or 99. That is pounds, right? That's not euros.
Yeah.
We don't know these things here in the States.
Some of your viewers will.
I tease, man. I tease. All right. So premium white label content. So you are including 4 premium articles to educate the online connections. So where are these articles being posted as of today?
So our members use them, as I mentioned, in various ways. You post them out onto your website as a blog piece. You can have them as a LinkedIn article. You can have them in an email newsletter, or you can have them in a physical printed newsletter that you mail out to your clients or prospects.
And so these articles that you're including, are they like basically the same articles everyone gets?
Yeah, they're white label. So the way it works, the way that we lock down by region. So if there's another MSP in your area that's already a member, then unfortunately you can't get access to this, because most MSPs are geographically based. They have their client base is a certain radius around where they operate. So we limit the content to a certain geography for each MSP. So you're not going to find that you're going to have 2 members in the same city that are going to have access to your content. So that's how it works. Content itself, the majority of it's written by myself. So my experience, I used to be a senior systems engineer, 15 years plus of experience in that technical role. I moved over to sales about 7 years ago. Did sales for a few years, which was fun. But my passion is marketing. So because I've got the technical knowledge of the solutions and services that most MSPs provide, and I also have that sort of sales piece. When it comes to the marketing, I'm probably one of the best places to come up with the content. So you get a lot more bang for buck from me than you would do by hiring a marketing agency that was going to come up with content for your blog or your LinkedIn.
So the articles that you're providing us, you said they're white label. So are you giving us? Do you have like maybe an older example that you'd be willing to show? I don't even care if it's zoomed in to where people can see the words. I just want people to kind of see what does the format of one of these articles look like. Okay,
let me bring one up.
Sure. And the reason I ask is I just want people to understand, and I want to understand what one of these articles looks like, just so I can understand exactly how I would be sharing it.
Okay, so here's one I'm working on just now. And this is getting back to what I mentioned before about being productive when you work from home. It's not all about the technology, but the mindset as well. Let me bring up my screen here. Can you see that Word document?
I can, yes.
Okay. So we include a title, something that's going to get clicked. So when it's in your LinkedIn feed, or if you're posting out to another platform like Twitter or Facebook, You need a really good sort of call to action headline it is clickbait, but it's going to get clicked.
Sure. Well, that's how things get clicked, by being bait.
Yeah,
It's no different from fishing. You gotta get them fish to bite somehow.
So this article here is broken down into 5 tips from for working from home, and it's not about technology. So this is a massive thing for most MSPs just now. Whilst they're focused on the technology, and you've probably been extremely busy over the last 2 or 3 weeks getting all of your clients working from home, if they're not already, getting the monitors in place, getting the VPN connections, even getting VoIP at home or whatever. That's all a big hassle that you guys can solve quite easily. But our job now should actually be looking at, okay, everyone's up and running from home and we're providing that support, but there's this huge thing where people are maybe not as productive at home, and this is coming down from personal experience and some of the people I work with. It can be quite difficult, and it's things like, if you have kids, where do you start in this journey from working from home? So at the moment, it's not about, you shouldn't be trying to sell any of your IT services, technology, or solutions. Yeah, you can go and write a nice post that you tell everyone about the amazing benefits of Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever platform you want to talk about. But that's what a lot of your competitors will be doing. What you could be doing just now that would really make an impact is actually doing things like this, talking about how to actually be productive at home. So in this article, we talk about some of the big problems from working from home. This is from my personal experience here that I put in this article. So, what are my top distractions? So, news check. I've got to keep up to date with the news. It's usually the first thing that I do when I wake up. Then there's regular visits to the kitchen for, in this case,
and
cookies.
You wait a whole hour before you go back? And see, that's where it's great to not have a separate building, Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
I can go every 10, 15 minutes.
Totally. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's a whole hour. And then you've got your notification black hole. Do the rounds on that. Make sure you're up to date with all your notifications. And then you've got the joy of having your family as well. So it's like, okay, these are all the issues that we've got currently. Let's try and solve them. So this article, it's really about helping people. So it's about helping your audience. So that's the number one thing that I kind of instruct all our members at IT Rockstars. It's like, anything that you put out there must be helping the audience. So it's the go-to thing, and it must be things that they can action on. So it's not just theory or strategy, but it's actually things that they can actually do. I'm very much the type of person that likes to get stuff done as opposed to just talking about it. So this is a good example, though, Steve. You mentioned you want to see this article, Dress for Work. As you can see, I'm totally sticking to my own advice here.
So with this, like, are these is this like finished product here in this Word document?
This one almost is, yeah.
Okay. So that's why I asked, because I mean, me being the grammar police / grammar Nazi, I see so many things that I would change. But if it's still one of those things that, like, you're just still like, I actually like the way the first one was written, because it looks like you had like a brainstorm session, like, here's where I want this to go, and then I need to go through and turn these thoughts into actual usable sentences and paragraphs.
Yeah.
Like, that's because obviously you don't check INSA. I assume that was Insta, short for Instagram. So, but my point is, it actually gives me some ideas for how I should be writing things, where stop worrying about what the completed sentence is going to look like. Just start brainstorming and getting ideas down on paper, just so that way then I can go back and turn it into something more beautiful.
So one of the other really useful bits of advice I've got for you, Steve, when it comes to marketing, and it's certainly true in the MSP space. Now, the first piece was obviously be as helpful as you can in your content.
Mm-hmm.
Second piece is it doesn't have to be perfect. You have to be consistent more than you have to be perfect. As long as you're getting content out there that's helpful, things like these grammar and spelling mistakes, whilst we do get them checked, you should be posting out on a regular basis. Now, this, whilst with the written word, it matters more when you're on camera, when you're doing video, and that's one of the big things that I love is video marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Is being consistent matters more than being perfect, specifically with video. And it's a hard thing that a lot of our members, certainly the academy, we've got the MSP Video Academy, it's a hard thing for them to get their head around because they are perfectionists, because they are usually have that engineering mentality where they have to make sure that this Office 365 migration goes according to plan, because if they screw it up, then that could lead to a lot of problems. So
Absolutely.
where it comes to being perfect in your day-to-day operations, when it comes to marketing specifically with something like video, I should just get the camera recording and getting up there out onto the social feed is much more important.
And that's what I've been telling my members. So a lot of guys I've been saying, you know what, just get on camera, go. I don't care if you go live on Facebook or if you record something. I don't care if it's 10 seconds or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just make something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to have, intro music and end credits and your logo spinning in 3D. Like, I don't care about all that. As long as you have you talking about something helpful to your potential clients. That's the important thing you need to be worried about. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there's one guy who he's been killing it. He's been making videos, I'd say like 3 or 4 videos a week, and he added 5 to 10,000 in MRR since starting to do those videos in January.
Yeah.
There's another guy who started. Hello, Izzy. My kitty wanted to say hi.
Mm-hmm.
There's another guy who I kept telling, dude, just make some videos. Here, check out this guy's videos. And, he kind of like literally copied everything down to the mannerisms to the point where he didn't even seem naturally like himself. But at least he's doing something.
Yeah. It's a big thing, though, just trying to get your head around it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So the solution that I have got actually to the problem is that we have a 30-day challenge. So it involves going live to Facebook for 30 days in a row on video. And the thing with live video is if you mess it up, you don't get a second chance.
You really don't.
The benefit to that is there's a couple of benefits, actually. So the first one is that you're getting the content out there. The second one is that you come across as much more human, and most humans make mistakes on a if you're like me, probably every 5 minutes that you're going to make a mistake, but you come across more as just more genuine doing a live video, because you make mistakes, you make blunders, but you'll start to build up more of a relationship with your audience when you have these types of mistakes in your videos. And when you start to build up that relationship, people start to like the videos that you're doing. Now, there will be a percentage of the people that will detest what you're doing and say, this guy's in my timeline again, I'm going to hide him. There's other people that are just not going to notice you. They're just going to scroll right past you in the timeline. But there will be a percentage of people, though, that will start to follow you, and they'll start to really like your style, however ridiculous it might be. Like my hairstyle right now, I'm this stubble. But they become your followers and your audience. So
See, and I feel like your look right now is like, I don't know, James Bond, like when
I,
he's up before he gets the hair gel in.
I actually took my hat and I forgot to put it on, so that's better.
Chicago.
You've reminded me now. Well, this is where my dad and my brother stay in Chicago, so I've got a bit of a connection to the place.
That's really cool, man. I think your points about going live are spot on. I mean, even though these aren't live anymore, they're recorded. The only post production I do is try to clean up the audio so it sounds a little more clear, and put my logo at the beginning and end. I don't cut things out. So me with my ADD moment for 20 minutes screwing around on the map, that's going to be in here.
That's good.
And I can't promise it won't happen again, guys. I'm sorry.
So that's like the third benefit, though, is the fact that most IT business owners that are going to be doing these types of videos, their biggest excuse is they don't have time to do them. So if you do them live, it's literally 2 or 3 minutes out of your day, and then that's it done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another big benefit right there.
All right, so let's keep going. So we talked about the content, the articles. So you basically send out like a Word document with the articles, so people can use those on LinkedIn, Facebook, other social media, your blogs, newsletters, printed things. They can send them to the local Chamber of Commerce and say, here's an article that you are welcome to put out in your newsletter to members, that type of stuff. What you're not doing is posting it for us.
No, not yet. We do not have a done for you service. So that's why the price is so low.
Sure.
And it allows us to offer a certain level of service. So what we do is we recommend how to use it. So I mentioned places like LinkedIn, potentially Facebook, direct mail, but what's going to be going out to the members this month is going to be, you should actually be running webinars for your prospects and your clients on how to work from home effectively. So we've got a whole PowerPoint template that's going to go out for that, so that they can just use that template and see how I run these webinars, and they can take ideas from that.
So then I see there's a 60 to 90 second explainer video. So this, again, I assume is I'm going to call it generic because it's not going to be branded. It's more white label. It's going to have what? Like what is some explainer videos you might have coming up?
Let me bring one up. I'll bring up a script if I can find one. The scripts go to our narrations. So our narrators, we do, there's a US voiceover, a UK voiceover, an Australian one. And we do have a South African one as well for a couple of members down there.
That's really cool.
So the scripts go to them, but they change on a regular basis as well. So again, it's going to be an explainer video this month on how to work effectively at home. So it's very much going to take potentially what you see in that article that I showed you in the Word document. It's going to take that, but then we get them narrated, and then there's a video editor. I think he lives in Latvia. He puts together a video with stock footage. There's some After Effects that go in there as well.
Nice.
And there's a whole audio sequence that goes through.
Well, see, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So what I'm hearing, I just want to clarify this for everyone, is you write some articles, and then your explainer video is going to coincide with one or more of those articles. And the articles may also kind of be related to each other. So that way you're almost running an entire campaign through the month, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're very much finger on the pulse because we release content every month. If there's news that comes out or the current situation that we find ourselves in, we can keep it current and on trend. And we don't try to be too much on trend. So where we're maybe talking about, for example, working effectively at home, we won't maybe mention the fact that this is because of coronavirus, because in a year's time, coronavirus might be completely old news. So we try and keep the content evergreen as well, but on trend at the same time.
That's fantastic. And then I see a lead magnet as well. So is this downloadable resource going to be similar to one of the articles you already wrote? Is it going to be exactly an article you wrote?
They change every month, the lead magnets. So some months they are a PDF, some months they are an infographic. We have one of the things that we released for our members at Christmas time was a WordPress plugin where you can embed the Have I Been Pwned search on your own WordPress website, and the lead magnet is basically get people to your website, put their email address into that search.
Nice.
So there's various ones. The one that we have this month is a PowerPoint template that you can use to deliver a webinar on how to effectively work from home whilst dressed like a bum.
And then I see we get some bonuses as well. There's a cyber search plugin. Oh, so this is the thing that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
You've got a monthly master class. So this is probably similar to what I do, where every month you guys get together in maybe a Zoom meeting and you just kind of talk. You might have a topic you're going to talk about and teach, or you might do a Q&A.
It's a bit of both. So there's usually a number of questions that come up every month with members that have been with us, usually new members, but what's working most effectively when it comes to marketing. But we always have a Q&A session in there as well at the end with any questions that come up in the month.
So this is really cool, man. And I gotta say, sometimes it's hard for us as MSPs or as business people in general to justify spending $125 a month on anything, especially for the smaller ones, because I suspect it's the smaller ones that are kind of your targets. The larger MSPs, the ones that have 30 or more employees, they probably have somebody in-house that's doing marketing and sales for them, or they have maybe outsourced this to a company that maybe they're spending thousands a month, and they're getting more bang for their buck because they're spending a lot more, but they can also justify that because they've got 100,000 plus in MRR plus all the projects and hardware sales and everything else. So
yeah. It's a broad range, to tell you the truth, Steve. There's larger MSPs that use our content. They've maybe got a marketing manager already that's really good at marketing, but they don't have a clue about the solutions or services that they're supposed to talk about. That's where I come in. So it goes down from the one-man bands up to the 30 to 50 size MSP. So, and we do have a couple of agencies as well that use our content. So it's
you said agencies.
So if you hire a marketing agency to do your website for you and post out a blog post for you, there's a couple of agencies that use us, but it's an exclusive deal, so they can only use it for that one customer.
Gotcha. Okay. So one thing I've been dying to know since we started, what mic are you using?
It's the Rode Podcaster. Rode Podcaster.
That's what I thought it was.
So it's the one. So there's a guy. He's got a podcast called Mixergy, Andrew Warner, and it was like the very first podcast that I got into back like 10 years ago. And Andrew's always used this mic. So I went and got the same one. He did a course, actually. It was called Interview Your Heroes. and the whole course is about how to run your own podcast, how to get the guests in, but then actually how to do the research and ask the types of questions that your audience really want to hear about, and create things like a story arc within your podcast. So Andrew's quite a cool guy.
So that's really cool. I was this close to getting the Shure SM7B.
Okay.
Because that's the mic that a lot of guys, including Joe Rogan for his podcast, that's like the mic, you know. What was that?
Is it? I didn't know that. SM7B.
Yeah, the Shure SM7B. That's it's like a $400 mic.
I see that.
And it is truly a fantastic mic. And then I watched a couple of YouTube comparisons between that mic and this mic, which is also a Rode mic.
I see that, yeah.
The Rode right here.
It's a nice size as well.
And you see, like, it also, as it gets away from me, you see how you can barely hear me now. So this is a dynamic mic. I think yours is also a dynamic. I can never remember if the more expensive.
I have to speak into it.
Yeah. So I like this mic because, when my kids are out in the room, or my daughter was making food earlier, you might have heard the beeping, but I mean, you just don't hear as much happening further away from me. But this mic sounds really, really close to the SM7B, and this is a $100 mic.
I think mine was about the same price. I like it though. Is it an XLR input or is it?
Yeah, here's the XLR right here.
See, that's why I like this one, because it's just USB. I can just plug it in and I don't have to mess with something else.
Okay, that's what yours is. Okay, so there's a more expensive version of this that looks kind of like yours.
Yeah, so the reason, 5 years old now.
So the reason I didn't go with I used a USB. I'm actually still using the arm from it. I had a Yeti. What I think they call it, the Yeti caster. So it's a blue Yeti. It's a USB microphone, and it comes with the USB cable. And this is called the Compass. So this is a really nice arm that Blue makes, and then it also came with the shock mount called the Radius. Okay. So it was like a whole package. And the one thing that I learned is that USB microphones, they've got the capsule, the part you talk into, and they've got the audio interface all kind of built into that there. So when you go out and you buy like a $100 USB mic, what you're really getting is like a $30 mic and a $30 audio interface and whatever else. Whereas this, I had to go out and buy an audio interface. I bought a Steinberg, just because I trust that brand. I use it a lot in music. And then I bought the $100 mic, and now I've got a $100 mic, and it sounds so much better for me. Yours sounds great. I'm not picking on your mic. I'm just letting people understand the technology and my thought process behind all this.
No, yours does sound good. Mine's probably all over the place. I don't adjust the levels or anything. Like, I'm obviously no BS for this, and
it sounds good, man. But that's why I went with what I have, because there's just a really, really noticeable difference for me on my side. Yeah. Using this mic versus the USB mic. And the other cool thing is, so I've got my headphones on, and usually I do this, and I forgot to. Oops, whatever. So the cool thing with the headphones, because I've got that audio interface, I can actually mix in my microphone a little bit because I've got these really nice Beats headphones with the noise cancellation. So I'm actually able to mix in my microphone a little bit so I hear what it hears. I can still hear myself, but it's still noise canceling kind of the rest of the room for me.
Yeah.
But I also hear, so, if my kids do anything too terribly loud, I'll also hear that, which tells me, oh crap, that's coming through the mic. I better hit mute.
That makes a lot of sense. And I hear all of the experts, including yourself, say that you should really wear headphones when you're recording. That's something I don't do.
It's helpful for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it doesn't look as nice, but, because you look silly with headphones on top of you. But I look silly already, so who cares if I have headphones on or not? But the reason that I wear the headphones is they cancel out all the noise around me, which, again, since we're talking about working from home, I think one of the things that people really should be investing in right now is a really nice, comfortable pair of noise canceling headphones. Because if you do have a partner or kids around and you're trying to work from home, even if you're not like doing Zoom meetings or recording podcasts or whatever, right? Even if you're just working, you should absolutely make it so you can focus on what you're doing. And you should also consider, I got this, you ever go on AppSumo, Scott?
I've been on that a couple of times. That's the thing that they give you like a deal on a bit of software, isn't it?
Yeah, so they sell like lifetime deals to software. And
who's the guy that runs that again? What's his name, Scott?
I don't know. I don't think he's a very fat person, though. I don't understand why he called it sumo. So it's like a whole company. They've got employees. They've got a whole team now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
So the one deal I bought years ago was called Brain.fm. And Brain.fm is like, it's like Spotify or Pandora. You go to the website and you can play some music. And they say they've got patented technology that they've got music that is guaranteed to make you focus within 15 minutes. And so I'll put these headphones on and just play some of the weird stuff that's on Brain.fm.
So,
and it actually
I'm going to work, Steve. I'm going to have to work that bit of advice now into one of my pieces of content.
Go for it.
Because I have never heard of Brain FM, and that's something that I could do with is something that would help me concentrate.
Yeah, man, check it out.
I will.
I've been really impressed by this. It sometimes it starts to drone on because like I only like a few of the things. So like here I'll log in. I don't care if you see my email address. It's the password I need to make sure stays hidden. So I'll just click on here. Let me make a new share. I'm going to try and share computer sound, which might make it so I can't hear you anymore. So we're going to try this. Of course. To share your computer audio, please install the Zoom.
So we lost your audio. I think when you share your screen, there's a little button down the bottom to share your audio as well. So you think you have to stop sharing. And then when you hit share screen again, there's an option to share audio.
Yeah, so I've got the share computer sound button here checked. Yeah. So I'm going to hit share. Let's see. Did you lose me again?
No, we can still hear you.
Okay, so now I'm going to click on this. Do you
hear Camtasia as well?
Do you hear this too?
Yeah.
So I love this, man. But it starts to kind of drone on after a while. Like because depending if you've got the headphones on like they recommend, it has like a wobble to it. Mm-hmm. and it kind of wobbles between the ears.
I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out.
It's awesome, but just don't do it for like 6 hours, because then you'll maybe go a little crazy.
Okay.
So, itrockstars.net, not
That's
.com.
right. No, someone wants $5,000 for the .com, and just out of, I know I could stump up the cash, but
The principle.
And when I'm on video, like as I say, it's the main way I market my business. I just say, check out itrockstars.net. It rolls off the tongue now. So yeah, it's the it used to be .co.uk. I've got the .co.uk, and I thought I really should have something a little bit more international.
Good for you.
With so many members from all over the place. So I was like, oh, I get the .com. Maybe we should create help Scott buy itrockstars.com. So if you go on to itrockstars.com, yeah, it's $3,895.
The price went down.
So what I was planning on doing, and what I've done actually, is I'm in the process of trademarking the name itrockstars.com, or just itrockstars, and then I can go back to this person and say, hey, hand it over, it's trademarked.
Nice.
That's the plan.
So I wish I could see who owns, because I've got RocketMSP.io.
Okay.
I hate that. I want .com, you know, but I thought of the name RocketMSP, and I was like, you know what? I don't care if .com's available. This is a fantastic name, in my opinion. So, yeah. So I decided to forego the .com. Like, I could get .us, .org, .info, and all of those suck. Like,
have you looked at archive.org to see what the site used to be in the past?
You know, I never thought of that.
I used to do that, so you can see what Rocket MSP used to be if it was maybe an actual MSP that owned it. Ooh, you can probably get the person's name.
There's a snapshot from July 19.
Oh yeah, it's only one. There's one from 2018.
Oh, it's parked on GoDaddy.
Weird.
And then 2018, there's one. Right now, it's not parked. Right now, it's like
it's about to drop. Someone else is going to buy it.
Wouldn't that be great? Because when I look, I see the registration expires June 13th.
Okay, I'm going to go buy it right now.
I will murder you. I will. Okay, just to clarify,
I'll sell it to you for $3,895.
Scott, we're going to have words, you and I.
No, you need to speak to I know I've done this in the past. I remember back when I was doing break fix stuff back in 2019, and when I was really into laptops repair, I bought the domain name laptopscreenrepair.co.uk. And the way it worked with the UK domains is they actually dropped, and you could hire a specialist to catch the domain before it drops. So I think something like that probably exists for .coms as well. I'm not an expert in it, but there are specialists that would be able to help you acquire it for a reasonable price.
I will look into that. I didn't think about doing like rocket-msp.com.
Yeah.
And I feel like adding a dash is a stupid idea, though. Like, that makes it more confusing to people, I bet.
Yeah, I think so. And it's also when you have to go and explain the domain dash, it's just something else that you have to put in there. So I think I was fine, though. I mean, the people are going to Google Rocket MSP anyway. They're not necessarily going to type the whole address in. So they're going. You come up first for that. So there's no. It's not a big deal.
I do see GoDaddy, who owns it, also has a domain broker service.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
So when did you come up with the name Rocket MSP?
Last year,
Yeah.
I just kind of it just kind of happened.
Why did you change?
Because I was doing more than just webinars, and it just made sense to not be called MSP Webinars anymore.
Okay.
Because the peer group thing was, I mean, it still is, but it was really picking up, and people were really liking it, and they were like, so is this being recorded? Like, I kept getting that type of question. I'm like, I really need to change this name, because obviously when they hear webinars, they're thinking, oh crap, I'm on TV somewhere. But when they hear Rocket MSP, they just assume it's all private.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I like I just always remember his MSP webinars.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
make sense that you went through that rebranding. I do like the new name. I'm Googling Rocket MSP to see if I can find anyone that's mentioned that, and there isn't anyone that's mentioned it before you. So,
And that's the nice thing, when you Google Rocket MSP, I'm all over page one.
maybe I'll pop up on page one as well.
For Rocket MSP?
Yeah, so we can do that. We can get you on the show. We can get you an IT Rockstar, Steve.
Oh, okay.
We'll get you back on the YouTube channel. We're going to be building up the channel, so we'll get you back on there, and you can own that property as well. It's not just on your own website.
Cool.
We're going to be charging. This is a theory that I've got, and I went around. I was at Datacom in Paris in October, and I went around all the exhibition stands and says, "Hey, I've got this YouTube channel that's not really doing much. I've got like 500 subscribers at the time. It's okay size, but I do have this big email list and this member base." It says, as opposed to having a stand and exhibiting your product or solution at a stand here at an exhibition, why don't you come on the YouTube channel instead? And I think that's going to be something that everyone's going to be doing this year. It's coming on they're going to be online more than they are anything else. So webinars and things like that. So I'm planning to get a lot of vendors on, and probably something similar to you. I know you I think the previous videos you used to do is you should go into quite a lot of detail on products. So
yeah, and I'll probably dive back into doing that. The one I did with Cloud Radio, unfortunately, it didn't record video. So annoyed about that. But yeah, I'll probably start diving into the products with people again. I think it's obviously it's good to do that, but at the same time, I think right now people are just so bored. I want to entertain them.
Well, this is it. So again, coming back to my content. So one of the things I did back on Saturday was I ran my first virtual pub, and we had a pub quiz. This was between family and friends, and everyone is so bored, and they're like, well, what are we going to do? So I know how to use Zoom, and I came up with a bit of a format for the night. And whilst it has no relation to the technology MSP space and the types of solutions that are being sold out there, a bit of content about how to run your own virtual pub for your families and friends or your customers.
I like that.
Low wages now, so it's another content idea that I've got.
So there's one thing I'm dying to know. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look right here at IT Rockstars on YouTube. How do you make your graphics?
Photoshop.
So this is Photoshop.
I'm a master of Photoshop. I've been using it for the last 45 years.
How old are you, Scott?
No, I am Fiverr.com. I come up with 3 words, I get the headshot of the person that's on the show, and I go to Fiverr.com, and they do the graphics for me for
And
$5.
how much? You're doing it for $5.
It's a $5 a graphic, yeah.
That would add up for me, though.
Don't tell the vendors that, though.
Well,
it
this
doesn't.
is literally recorded.
It's fine, but it doesn't add up for you, and that's because you're not charging the vendors to come onto your channel, Steve. There's an idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I should be.
So this one here in the top left, this is like one of the only products that I've actually reviewed on the channel, and it had 2,300 views. I think it's around about 12 months old, that video, which is okay for me, for my channel. It's not a big channel, but there's no one else that's really reviewing KnowBe4. So from a vendor's marketing department perspective, this is actually a really big thing that they could be doing that they're not.
And for that kind of stuff, I would absolutely charge. For what you and I are doing, I couldn't get anyone to pay for this.
No, I think there's certain levels of vendor, isn't there? And I think
sure.
And I think you have different packages depending on the vendor.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's something that I was doing for a little while. I was actually reviewing software, checking it all out, and I really enjoy doing that. It's fun.
That's where I'm assuming you have got most of your customers from.
Probably
so off the back of that, because if you just look at like the view count, and the fact that a lot of these products are MSP specific, they're the only ones that are going to be watching it. So when you do mention RocketMSP, it's it's a really good channel. There's no one else really doing it. So, your audios went.
Whoops. You ever watch Unbox Therapy?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Check that out on YouTube. That guy, he literally makes, I don't know how much he makes, but he's got like millions of views,
Okay.
That guy, he literally just opens boxes and shows off products and reviews products. And that was kind of what I was like, I'm going to be kind of like the Unbox Therapy of MSP tools.
There's no one, you're the only person I know that's done it in the past.
Yeah. And I really do have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I should get back into it. I know.
The vendors are crying out for it just now because they can't go to all these exhibitions. They can't do these events and pull them off themselves. They can't get their sales team out and about. So it's an opportunity, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, you've heard it here first, guys. I'm going to start doing it again. So all you vendors that are watching this, you let me know when you're ready to do your virtual conference.
Yeah.
On the Steve Taylor show, on the Rocket MSP. Well, it won't be a podcast episode. It'll just be let's review, deep dive this software.
And if you want a better deal than Steve's going, come along to Rockstars.
Get out of here with that. There's enough. We each have our own little, niche, if you will. And these vendors have plenty of money for all of us.
I know. There's like limitless lists. So actually this is one thing that I've been thinking about over the last couple of days. So everyone knows Teams and Zoom, but what about the smaller guys that they're fairly sizable, but they just aren't getting the media coverage? So it's things like Ring Central.
I'm sorry, but Ring Central is not a smaller guy. They are expensive.
Yeah, but why are they not? Why is it because they're expensive? How come they haven't as much media as Teams or Zoom? Now, I have a conspiracy theory about Zoom, actually, but that's a conspiracy theory.
Is it that you think Zoom created COVID-19 with China so that way their stock would increase?
No, I think that someone put out bad press at a specific time in regards to the flaws that Zoom has and is working to fix, so that they could buy stock. That's my theory.
Well, let's think about this realistically, Scott. If people are Zoom bombing you, which, by the way, I should probably start locking these meetings, huh?
You should just put a password in the Zoom meeting. That fixes the problem.
Yeah, I know.
And
Well,
the URL password gets hashed as well. So
yeah, I know.
No brainer.
So with Zoom, for me anyway, what I've found is that if people are Zoom bombing you and it's a school, it's a classroom, and somebody's naked bombing your class, that's newsworthy.
So
I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's newsworthy.
As the solution provider, but Zoom even said themselves, going forward, all meetings now require a password by default. You have to actually go in to turn it off, password.
I did not know that.
No, they put out a blog post just the other day saying, okay, we realize there's these concerns. We didn't, their market prior to what's happening was not everyone on the planet. They had a bit of a niche in the enterprise market. And they go into detail on what the situation is, where they are, and what they're trying to fix, what they're fixing. So there is concerns. But it could just be, that's just a theory. There's other ones as well. Like one of the main reasons, Microsoft's offering like a free license at the moment. But one of the big drawbacks with Teams is because you only see the last 4 people that have spoken in the room. And some of the clients that I've got, just being able to see everyone that's in the room, that's a really good feature to have.
That's what I love about Zoom. I mean, I love that I'm able to be in Zoom, and if we had 30 people in here and all of their cameras were on, I'd see everyone.
Yeah, and that's what's missing from Teams at this point. So Teams even has a webinar option where if you've got an E3 license, you can actually run it as a webinar and have participants in, and it's a public URL that people go to. So they're catching up slowly, but certainly Zoom fills a bigger gap at the moment, I think. But it's features for different things. I don't want to get into that. Bore you.
All right. Well, Scott, I feel like my brain hurts, man. It's only Tuesday and my brain hurts. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no. I've got this PC to build tonight. And there's Dynamics 365 projects that I have to write on as well. So.
And it's like 6 or 7 o'clock there, right? 6 or 7:30.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like now's a good time for us to wrap up then. Guys, check out itrockstars.net. If you want somebody to make your marketing easier, Scott's going to take care of that for you. Vendors, talk to me and Scott. Both of us will help you do some really awesome reviews of your product, so that way we can keep you in front of MSPs, and MSPs talk to Scott for marketing. Talk to me if you're looking for some type of peer group to make your MSP even more gooder than it already is. That's my proper English. Thanks so much for doing this, Scott. We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
It's a pleasure. I really like the format.
Me too. I just want to make it fun, man. All right. Take care, man. Take care, everybody.